make sure now I mark my sprinkler head so I don't run these things over and ruin what I just put in. So what am I up to today? Well, I'm planning to plant some Kentucky bluegrass in this plot right here. Haven't measured it out exactly yet, which I will do in just a moment to see how big it is. I'm gonna be doing a mono stand here of a cultivar called Bedazzled. One, I really liked the mono stands that I had at my old house. Especially with bluegrass, I think just having one type in there sometimes a really uniform look. Now most of the time the reason that you won't have a mono stand, which just means one cultivar of a certain type of grass, is because you're only getting the strengths of that grass, but you're also getting the weaknesses of that grass, and without any other cultivars to help with some of those weaknesses and add some other strengths, then you might have an outbreak of fungus or something happen and it can really wipe out an entire area. Most of the time people will not do this type of thing, but I'm not like most people, as you know, and actually at my other house I didn't really see any issues with it and I really enjoyed the way that it looked. I'm going to be trying Bedazzled because it is tested very well for drought tolerance, and if you've ever had bluegrass, you know a lot of water needs to go on it in most cases. So I'm just going to see what happens with it, and I want to see just what it looks like by itself. So that's the plan here. Now it has been raining quite a bit the last couple days, and so this soil, I've been waiting for it to dry out, but I don't know today if I can actually power rake it or not. We're gonna find out here. My soil is a lot siltier and sandier down here, so I may have some luck, but let's find out. Well, I seriously don't know what I would do without that machine. With all the renovations that I've been doing, certainly makes things a lot easier and the results are just fantastic. So I know some of you are going to be really mad for me showing you this, but I want to show you anyway. Just look at this soil. I mean, this is some of the best topsoil around. And when I used to sift all my stuff at my other house, when I would get topsoil and I would sift it through there, mostly it would look almost exactly like this without having to do the sifting. Now I do have some bigger chunks, but that's because this is wet. So if you find this at the exact moment where the moisture is perfect, you really don't get any chunks. It works so well into just a fine powder. And also I have some of this dead grass mixed in here too, but man, it is amazing stuff. You can see all these piles here of soil that I've created. So now what I will do on the machine is set the power rake a little higher, so we're just starting to skim things, and what it will do is move stuff from the high points to the lower points, and you'll just see as we get going here the magic that will happen. So I've got just a couple areas that I need to hand rake around my sprinkler heads. So it's definitely an easier process when you don't have sprinkler heads in the way. When I did some of this work last year, this was just an open area. It's a lot easier to maneuver around and not have any obstacles or anything like that, but it is easy to get around things, and so there's just a few areas that I have to hand touch up now. I'm not doing this whole area in bluegrass, so this little thing right here is about the midpoint, and everything on this side I will be doing a ryegrass. This side over here will be getting the mono stand of blue. Okay, so I came up with a size of 36 by 34, so that's 1,224 square feet. Now I'm going to go to this online calculator. As far as bluegrass goes, I'm going to be planting this at 3 pounds per thousand. So I got this calculator here, put in 36 by 34, and then 3 pounds per 1,000. So I need 3.68 pounds of seed evenly across this area. So on this particular scale here, you can change the units. So there's grams, there's milliliters, there's ounces, and then there's pounds and ounces. So one thing that you need to remember when I just calculated that, I'm just going to round it to 3.75 as far as what I need just to make it easy. But then that's not 3.75 on here because the second thing is ounces. Then in ounces, of course, 1 pound is 16 ounces, so 3/4 would be 12 ounces. So I need 3 pounds and 12 ounces on this scale to be accurate. So just remember with bluegrass seed how fine this is. Very, very small. So you don't want to start on a very high setting or that stuff will come out of there fast. So I just use this drop spreader here to do the outside corners just so that I can keep a straight line where I want it to be. And then for the inside part, you should be able to just use a broadcast because you don't have to be so particular about the edges once those are already done. The edges here ended up just a little heavier than I wanted, just because I'm not quite used to using that drop spreader very often, and especially not with bluegrass and how small it is, but it should all blend together as things grow in. So the inside part might be just a little lighter. We'll see how it turns out. So now I like these rakes like this, just with the normal tines on them to just come through. You just barely drag. Okay, so I got the ryegrass down on this side, and then on that half right over there, I'm not putting a barrier in right now. I may in the future, but I kind of wanted to blend these two grasses together, and that way in the future you'll be able to see them right next to each other without a barrier in between. Got this all rolled, just lightly rolling everything. We raked it very lightly and then are doing just a light roll on it. And now I'm going to put some starter fertilizer down. It does have the weed preventer in it. Used this one quite a few times before, and so especially with the bare ground here, I'm just going to put that down. I have a little more than a half a bag left, so it should cover this area out here. One thing I don't like about this spreader, and I know a lot of other people have had problems, is it does tend to leave a fertilizer line, but right now when I don't have any grass here, it shouldn't make as much of a difference. I did use this to seed the ryegrass because I do feel like it does a better job at seeding than that other black spreader that I have, but as far as fertilizer goes, it won't make a difference this time, but I don't really use it anymore because of those wheels and the fact that you get some streaking lines with your fertilizer. Also, I think we've done enough stapling now in our days here, Kelsey and I. All the front yard this spring and just lots of different areas that I've been doing with plots over the last couple of years, that I found that the staples do make a difference in terms of which quality that you buy. So these are galvanized. I used to get some cheaper ones from Menards, and what I noticed with those is that when I came out here this spring, everywhere in between the plots. They had rusted pretty bad, and most of them are just completely falling apart. These we actually put in the ground, some of them last fall up at the front yard area, and then we took those out and we've been reusing them, and they're definitely a lot better value. So, well, we ran out of blanket with, I guess, the buffer strip already sort of built in, so maybe that was planned the way it was supposed to be. But I do have seed in there, and we'll just see what happens. If it does wash out, I can continue to get some rye overseeded if necessary. And then you can see the rest of this. Got one little spot over in that corner that we didn't have enough blanket for, but I'll find something to cover that. As I just said to Kelsey, we got these blankets down, we got the seed down, and you all know exactly what that means. It's probably gonna storm tonight. So one seeding project is in the books, more to come, of course, as we move into the fall season. So thanks so much for watching today, and we'll see you next time.